Today I'm going to show you how I turn this Skilsaw, it's a Skilsaw 77, into a portable table saw. There are times where I need to make cuts that I can't do with the Skilsaw, and it's nice to have a table saw around. I do have a table saw, but I don't always want to lug it around. This is just a board, so I can take it with me. I can just set it up on sawhorses. I can also use it as a little workbench, and then when I want, I can easily turn it into a table saw. First things first, safety. Always have some safety glasses with you. Have a push stick. Set the depth of your cut. And you know, if you decide to build one, you realize this is a dangerous tool, so do so at your own risk. Okay, here's a rundown of how I set it up. Flip the board over. I'll go over a little bit how I made it later on in the movie. Drop the blade, come here, slide it on in. And it has a guard or a rip guide. I use that to hold it in place. Slip it in, then it has a screw here. Tighten it down. I have a piece of Velcro. I keep it unplugged till the very end, but I've got a piece of Velcro to hold in the trigger. That about like so. Plug the saw in, but still leave it unplugged. Make sure it's off. Flip it back over. Want to make sure it's on the sawhorse is really nice and solid. Next, I'll come and I'll set my depth. So when I'm ripping a board, I just like my blade no more than 1/8 higher. That's for safety. Then I'll set up my guard. Let's say I want a 1-inch cut. Check the front. Set the front and the back. Make sure it's parallel. Tighten it up. Now my safety glasses. Now when I know I'm ready to go, I'll plug it in. Got a switch here. So it makes a real nice cut. One technique I use a lot when I use a table saw is what I call the flip technique. I'll push the board halfway through, flip it over, push it the other way. Whenever possible, I always keep my fingers away from the blade or as far away as possible. And if I have to get close, I always use a push stick. But I'll show you how to do the flip. So you get a pretty accurate cut that way, and you don't have to get your hands close to the blade. the fence is made with a it's a Irwin quick grip clamp, and this is the 600 pounder or pressure, whatever, however they're rated. All I did is take a piece of wood and dado it out, and I put these screws in it, so if I want to still use the clamp, I can just unloosen this head comes off, will slide off, and I can slide the clamp out. But I made it wide so when it's on here, it gives it a stable base. And I would highly suggest this 600 pound pressure or whatever it is one, because it will really clamp in there hard and just super solid. So a little rundown of how I made it. I just took a piece of plywood. I made mine like 2x4, so I can have 1 foot here and 3 foot over there. And then over here, I just wrapped it with some 2x material just to get it so it's not bowing at all. I got one of these power strips for an off-on switch. That was the cheapest way I could think of. Piece of Velcro to hold the trigger on when you need that. Take it out. I can just loosen this screw, pull out the fence, lift it all the way up, and slide out. Then it slides back in real easy. Drop it down. That's a basic setup of how that works. All this aluminum was just some stuff I had at home. You can make this whole thing out of L metal. I'll get a little closer shot here, hopefully. Here's a close-up of the metal that holds the saw. A couple things I had to modify. I had to grind this out because the nut was hitting there, and then on this side here I had to carve it down so the saw would fit all the way down. You know, this is just a prototype, so I just used some aluminum that I had at home. I went and bought some nice stainless steel screws because this setup will work for a long time with these nuts that won't come off. But all it does is I just slide the saw right under here, and it holds in place really nice. Two things I want to stress about how I made this table saw. I think it's very important to have an off-on switch, and when the saw is in here, it is solid. It won't move. There's no play in there. It's just solid, and it can't go forward or backward or side or side. Hi, thanks for watching the movie. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. I always like it when I get a comment. If you have any suggestions, leave a comment. And for more interesting videos, subscribe to my channel. Thanks again for watching. Bye now. So here's all the tools I used to make this little table saw that I'm going to make a little movie about. But of course you got the radio, the big bar clamp, drills and hammers and Dremels and squares and Dremels and sockets and tape measure and aluminum. Use the table saw a little bit. Over there is a cordless drill, a sander, chop saw, Skilsaw, portable Skilsaw, bunch of screws. A lot of times this is the pop rivet gun, compressor. But this is how I work a lot of times. I just start working and working, and luckily I can leave my tools out unless it's going to rain. And now I'm going to pick them up.